Friedrich Nietzsche said, gaze long into the abyss, and the abyss will gaze back into you. Now I think that's what you do when you gurn. If you look in a mirror and you gurn, you're just like gazing into your human soul. You're looking at it's like an externalization of everybody's angst and sort of like hopes and fears. It's an outward manifestation of the human condition, and I think that's what you do when you're on stage in front of an audience. When you gurn, you're holding a mirror up to the audience, and they're not seeing you, they're seeing themselves. You know, sometimes people say to me, gurning, what do you want to do that for? What's the point? You know, what do you get out of it? Do you win anything? Do you get money? Is it paid? Well, there is a prize. I can't remember what it is though. It's just a token. But you win a cup. But the kudos that being a top gurner brings, it's like, you can't put a price on that. So, I'm driving north from London to the Lake District. It's the quickest way. Where I am going to enter the World Gurning Contest. Mary had a little lamb, she tied it to a pylon, 50,000 volts went up its arse and turned its wool to nylon. When I was in the circus, I was a trapeze artist, I was a knife thrower, a fire eater, I did escapology, I did a bit of mime, I was also a clown. When you're in the circus, you do a bit of everything. And that's a good thing about being in the circus, you get to do a bit of everything. Cool. 21 quid for diesel. And it'll probably get us from here to like 200 yards up the road. It's an expensive do, this gurning. But you know, I'm dedicated, so... I think in the next hour, I think we'll have about three more coffee breaks, 3 more stop-offs after this one. And then we should get there about 5 o'clock, put the tent up then and have a sleep and a coffee break. Then we'll wake up, go to the pub and sit there all night talking crap. Sounds like a good night to me, just the usual night for anybody else. Well, here we are eventually at Seacourt Park, and we're pulled up and we've seen the place where we were going to pitch our tents, and the production crew weren't exactly happy because there was like a force 10 gale blowing, and we tried to put our tents up, but it was to no avail. So I had to like splash out, with me being the producer, on this Des Res luxury caravan, and I haven't actually looked in it yet. So here are the keys, and this is like we're going to go in, if this is the right one and the door doesn't appear to open, which is always a good sign. Can't get the key back out now. Right, what we're going to have to do is take this one off and see if we can open that door. Hey, look at this. Oh, this is a bit fancy, this. And look what you get for your money. Step inside. What's in here? Oh, look at this. Fantastic. Single beds. And the sheets, they don't smell of feet. That's always nice. Yeah, no dead flies in the cupboards. Oh, little curtains, bit of a pelmet. Oh, yeah. Oh, this'll do me. A couple of bottles of pop in this cupboard. I'm just unloading some essential supplies. Because we don't want to go like thirsty. Gurning's it's a complicated do. I don't know if I should have got more booze. Got coffee and milk, crisps. Wonder what else we need, food or something. So, why am I here? Seacourt Caravan Park in St Bees. St Bees is a picturesque town which is nestled next to the historic market town of Egremont, deep in North Cumbria's Lake District. Egremont is famous for its annual crab fair, which King Henry III approved back in 1267. Since then, the crab has been host to many a traditional English folklore activity, such as the apple cart, pipe smoking and ferret racing. But next Saturday night, all eyes will be on this picturesque coastal area, as Egremont becomes a mecca for Gurners, while it hosts the World Gurning Championships, and I am going to get me a slice of that action. I've been practicing and I feel like I'm getting a bit closer to what gurning is. It's like it's an externalization, it's the feeling inside that comes out. Like when I was in the circus training in mime, they used to say that you have to get rid of yourself and put on a mask, so you shake what your sort of physical body is, you just shake your spirit out and you take on the mask of a different person, so you're acting as like a channel. But this time in gurning you're just channeling in that emotion. And I think on the night I'll use my performance skills, because sometimes when you've got nothing to offer people, you have to make it look like it is something. Well, last night it was very, very windy, and I was expecting to wake up this morning and look out the door and see the sea, because the trailer was moving so much, so that if we'd been in a tent we probably would have been in the sea. Oh, we'll be there. Thanks very much anyway. Cheers. Bye. Well, I've just come out of tourist information and they've given us the new brochure, so I'm going to get reading this. But the main man I need to speak to is Mr. Shutt, Derek Shutt, and I'm going to phone him now. Okay, then I'll see you soon then. Right, bye, cheers, cheers. Well, I've just managed to get in touch with Derek, and he's a very hard man to get in touch with. But they're in a field somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and that's where we're going next, nowhere. For over 700 years, the responsibility of keeping the crab fair alive has fallen on the shoulders of just a few locals, who give their time and without whom the crab fair would surely not exist. Well, I'm finally here. I've found Derek Shutt, the crab fair secretary, and he was just telling me that the greasy pole contest this year couldn't get insurance. So how has that affected you?
Yeah, we've lost one event, but we're going to try and recover there. We're putting more events on, obviously. We try something different every year, you know, and keep the crowds coming in, and there's still plenty going on.
If there was anybody to ask about Gurn, who would be a local expert I could ask?
In Egremont itself, we've got Gordon Blacklock and Woods, Halleck Woods. They're both in Egremont. You'll probably meet them before it wakes out, you know.
So have you got their details now, so we can go and rush to meet them?
That's right, you can, yeah.
That's
I can
brilliant.
give you them, yeah, no problem.
Now, I was on my way to the next town across from Egremont, to the Whitehaven News, where I would speak to local journalist Alan Irving. Now, Alan, you were born and bred in Egremont. How have you seen the crab fair change?
Well, I've grown up with it, and it hasn't changed a lot. Probably the only thing that's changed is the extent of interest in it, because there's probably more interest in the crab now overseas, America, Japan, Europe, than there is locally. That doesn't mean to say there still isn't a lot of pride in it, and because it's a weird and wonderful type of event, you know, a bit quirky and a bit boozy. We all love it.
So you're a journalist, and you've got sort of inside information on things. Is there any gossip on the World Gurning contest?
There's always gossip behind the scenes, but I can never reveal a source, actually, and otherwise my credibility would go down the drain. Crab Fair Day is a really good excuse for a bit of a booze up, good-natured for the most part, and a lot of revelry.
Do you think that's what crab fair is about, just drinking?
It's about, no, it isn't about. It's about pride in a community and having a really good time and celebrating what is a centuries-old event, a tradition, and not losing it, not letting it go.
Well, we're just looking on the archive here, and we're trying to find photographs from 1998 when I was a contestant last. Do you have 1998 crab fair.
Here we are. I don't think you're on these. Is that you? There you are.
Look at that, there's my Elvis shirt I was wearing. You see, I was here in 98.
Yeah, you remembered really well, that's good, yeah. Wow.
It's the real deal there, you see. Some people just turn up and, look, we found me on the archive. I could have talked to John all day, but there was just one thing on my mind. I was now a part of Gurning history. All these years my face had been in the archives of the Whitehaven News, without me even knowing about it. Just look at my face, the grimace, the sweat. I can almost smell that night. I can hear the audience cheering and the sound of the cameras flashing. There was just one place I had to go before I did anything else. In the early days, the Gurning contest was held outdoors. Due to its popularity, however, it moved into the old town hall. The town hall is full of folk memories, and the ambience creates a stunning atmosphere upon the main night. Well, enough reminiscing in this place about times that have passed. I'm off to meet my first professional gurner in Egremont. Going to meet Anne Woods, so let's go. When you talk about women gurners, you have to mention former Avon lady and 25 times Gurning champion Anne Woods. Well, I finally tracked them down. We've got Anne and Alec Woods, the only married couple that enter the Gurning contest, and Anne's won it 25 times, and that's quite impressive. So, what I want to ask you is, Gurning, what's it all about?
Well, it's just a collar around your neck, and you get up on stage and you just set up on your space chickies.
So, if I wanted to enter the competition, what advice could you give to me?
Oh.
Don't.
Is that the best
Hi,
advice?
Alex.
You'll wish you hadn't when you get it.
So Anne, could you show us a few different faces that you do? So Alec, what faces can you do?
The one I done a while back, I've sometimes call it Popeye because he's close to him.
Yeah?
You know, he's well like this.
That's fantastic. Interest in Anne and Alex has spread far and wide, with cover shoots, various TV appearances, and always a top-class gurn. But now, my bluff was called, as they asked to see my gurning face. Right, this is it. Are you ready? If you were a betting man, what do you think the odds on me would be of winning?
Well, depending on how many entries there is, I would say we last to one.
So, who do you think will win this year?
Tommy Matterton.
Me.
Or maybe email.
So Anne and Alec, it's been really nice to come in your house and talk about gurning and that. Hopefully I can meet up with you on Saturday again and see what you're up to and hang out together.
Brilliant. Brilliant, but try and get as much practice as you can. You're going to need it.
I think I am.
You think you are? Yes, you're going to need it.
I came down to the beach to try and relax and think about gurning. So far, I haven't really found out what it is, and nobody seems to see a spiritual side. I stand on the shoreline and see if I can stop the sea with my gurning, like a modern day King Canute. How can I think about ugliness surrounded by so much beauty? With performance skills you can command people's attention by just doing something mundane, like you can raise your hands up like this and people will watch your hand, and it's like, why are you watching my hand? Because you know something's going to happen when it comes down. So today's been a funny old day. Just found out this morning that Tommy Mattison, this is the guy who we've been trailing for the last 2 days, him and all the Mattison family are off down to London to do this morning programme with Fern Britton and Philip Schofield. Hopefully we can catch 5 minutes with Tommy before he shoots off to London. And also something else, I got a phone call from Sellafield. They don't want us on site. No press passes for us. I think what they did was they put me in the computer and I think it fused the national grid. So I was thinking, what's Sellafield got to hide? And is there a connection? Gurning, Sellafield, nuclear hazardous waste. So I'm a bit worried about what's going on in Sellafield. I think we need to investigate. How many T's in mutant?
Dad was going in this competition every year and he was the World Gurning Champion, so when I was small I started actually copying him and actually pulling faces myself, and that's how I got into it.
So does his dad gurn as well?
Yeah, my granddad used to gurn. It wasn't, I don't think he was a world champion, but he used to go in the competition. Gurning isn't just about pulling your face, it's contorting your face to look as completely different as normal, you see, and it's the change from what you look like to what you make it into.
So do you practice?
I do. I mean, if I'm going to do something on TV or if it's a Gurning Championship, I'll do a bit of practice only because I use a lot of muscles around my face and my neck, and it's like any exercise, if you don't practice, you're in agony, you know, the muscle seize up the next day, so it's no good practicing a day before unless you've practiced for like a week before, so everything's limbered up. Yeah. Even though it is a bit of a daft thing and it's a bit of fun, but it does, you've got to actually do a little bit of training. So I've got a couple of faces that I use. There's the Popeye and, as I say, the Alien or the American Werewolf. I'll do the Popeye first. That's a traditional face, and I used to use that one when I was a junior champion. So I'll do that one first. That's the Popeye one. And the next one, as I say, it's either been likened to the Alien or the American Werewolf. And I've got something like this. Okay.
This is the good one. Look at this. Tommy, that was quite an impressive face, and I can see you've obviously like trained quite hard and that, and you put a lot of effort into it. Now I'm going to enter the competition on Saturday, and I just wonder, could you give me some advice?
Right, well, stay sober. If you take the pole the neck off tonight on the championship, and then try and maybe put a t-shirt on like this, you could maybe, you know, because you can see your neck through the braffin, and if you pull your neck right up like that, you can get the lines right out of your neck, then do that with your tongue. Looks like a bit of a lizard face, that's it.
Having been sort of like the World Gurning Champion, how many times?
I'm 6 times world champion.
6 times world champion. You've become a local celebrity.
I mean, I'm a celebrity in a sense. I've done all kinds of shows, you know. Been to America on the Jay Leno show, you know, Ruby Wax show. I mean,
well, good luck for Saturday night.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
Pleasure to meet you.
Cheers. I left Tommy's place having felt I learnt a lot about preparation for the big night. However, I was in search of fun and I thought I would head towards the place they didn't want us to go. As others were fleeing, I entered Sellafield, the world's first nuclear power station, and Egremont's largest employer. We're not just inside the building, we're inside reactor number 1, and look, see that? That's an atom, and if that splits, we're all in big trouble. But I'm here to investigate the link between Gurning and Sellafield. Perhaps Sellafield gives off some strange sort of radioactivity that tempts people to come and work here, because all the top Gurners work in Sellafield. And if I hang around long enough in reactor number 1, perhaps I'll get something that makes me a top Gurner. So on Saturday night, I might just win. The word Gurn originated from the word grin, but I wasn't doing much grinning myself, hanging around this place, reading about nuclear power. The fancy light show got a bit boring after a while, so I thought I'd lighten things up a little and took a look around the kids' play area. Oh, nuclear power win. Sellafield offers an interesting insight into the world of nuclear power. The arguments for and against are presented in great detail. But I was finding nothing about gurning. After some fun and games, I felt covert action was required. I've gone and got myself a job at Sellafield, so I can get in with the top gurners. This is my new uniform. I'm just going to blend in. I'll just have a little wander around and see what I can find. I'll keep you informed. So today we went to visit Tommy Matheson, and he gave us some gurning tips. Basically, you just have to practice loads, which is like something I haven't done. It's a bit like doing your exams. You think, oh, next week. And then all of a sudden it's tomorrow and you think, oh dear, I have to cram, I haven't done any work, so now I'm going to have to stay up all night and just gurn and practice. So on the night, Saturday, I just don't look stupid on stage. But tonight it's raining, we were going to do some filming, but the weather's so bad outside, and I've just been thinking about things, about gurning, what I'm going to do. Everybody's trying to give us advice saying change your face. It would be better if you had no teeth. So I just don't know what to do for the best. During the gurning contest you have to hold your face for 7 seconds. So I'm going to have a practice of that now, because it's no good pulling a brilliant face if you can't hold it. So I'm going to have a go. Right. Oh, that was about 5.5. I'm getting a stitch. The wind battered St. Bees throughout the night, but I woke in the morning to serene skies. Then it was back to the field, where Derek Shutt informed me that the beer tent had blown over again, and the van was stuck in the mud. Again, I had to roll my sleeves up and give them a hand. While the others were playing with the dog, I grabbed a few words with Daniel Shutt, Derek's son, and Arthur, the street manager. Your dad's sort of running things at the moment. How does it feel to be taken over when he's finished?
Well, I think we'll always need young blood coming up, just sort of to take the weight off the older members, should I say.
What's in it for you to be a committee member?
Just the love of the town. Absolutely love this week.
Yeah. So do you look forward to this week for like...
Oh, it's like New Year's Eve.
Really?
Better than New Year's Eve. Anyway, Saturday night, it's just like the climax on Saturday night in the market hall. It's just better than New Year's Eve for us as committee members. Yeah. Definitely.
How many people are you expecting this weekend?
On the street, probably about 5,000 to 6,000. Well, 5,000 or 6,000 over the weekend, should I say.
Yeah.
If a day like we've got now tonight, I would expect probably 2,000 on the street tonight.
Tonight, yeah.
It was last year, certainly the same timing, same conditions. It was very crowded.
So it's quite full on this weekend.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and again tomorrow, if it's a decent day, you'll get that sort of numbers.
Tonight, these streets will be lined with 2,000 people, so I thought I'd take a walk round before the crowds arrived. I went up to the old castle, which is even older than the crab fair itself, and stood where no doubt many other key Egremont folk have stood over the years gone by, and I savoured the beautiful scenery. Then I was off, like Luke Skywalker, to meet the Yoda of Gurning, Mr. Gordon Blacklock.
What you're trying to do is pull an ugly face but funny at the same time. It's a wee bit difficult. I've been doing it for the last 24 years. This is my 25th year. And I have dentures, which helps.
Ah, right, so you're one of these people that can just take the teeth out?
Yes.
So do you think that's cheating, do you?
I don't think so, because at the end of the day, it's in the rules for the crab fair that the only thing you're allowed to use is anything that's appertaining to your face.
Ah, right. Gurning, it's been around for such a long time.
Yes.
Why? What makes it so popular?
I think everybody enjoys it, and it's just funny. In respect, it is for the Egremont Crab Fair, a type of sport. But to me, it's just one bloody good laugh.
What I need to ask you is, because I can't take my teeth out, how can I sort of make myself a better gurner?
Well, I think if you push your cheeks out, twist your nose if you can, yeah. Open your eyes wide, and then look at the end of your nose. That's pretty good, yeah.
I was thinking, like in Freudian psychology, there's this thing that says if you're up on stage, you're showing off to people, but at the same time when you pull a face, you're asking them to laugh at you.
The effect of it is the more you can pull an ugly and funny face, the better the crowd like it.
So what's more important, ugly or funny? Which is the best, do you think?
Well, a bit of both, I think.
Right, so tomorrow night, the World Gurning Contest, is there any tiny piece of advice you can give us that's the most important thing I should do?
Well, if you can practice, even try and touch your nose with your tongue. Try that one. Yeah, push your cheeks out at the same time if you can. No, it's a wee bit difficult, like, especially with, I know.
The riding of the boundaries is a tradition where people would ride around the town boundary. In recent years, in tune with the rest of the fair, even this event has incorporated modernisation, and it now has a full-on motorbike escort. However, the atmosphere was not lost, and soon the 737th Crab Fair begun. Here we are at the wheelbarrow race, and this is a good concept. You have to go to 9 pubs and drink as much as you can. I'd like to do that at some point, but not tonight. I'm feeling a bit... Some stragglers at the end of the wheelbarrow race. Obviously can't take the pop these days. Dear ma'am, so straight up at the crab fair, the crab, that looks like crap fair. It's just my handwriting. The crab face. What dead good is dead good. And I will see you sometime next month. I'll see you soon, because see you soon. Right now, hopefully first class. That should get there sometime next week. So now I'm going to go and now I've done my family type duties. I'm going to go and have a wander around and see what happens and that. Somebody lent us this pen. I think I'll keep it. I decided to lose myself in the sights and sounds of the fairground. The crab fair had begun, and the town had flocked in their masses to join in the spirit of the weekend. Hot dogs, candy floss, and rides which seem a bit faster to me now than they used to. This generated a first truly electric atmosphere of the weekend. I looked for a hall of mirrors to practice my gurning in, but I found none, and instead thought I'd let bright lights and atmosphere inspire me. And in French clowning, there's a sort of a clown called a bouffon, which is like a clown, but this clown's slightly sinister, slightly evil, a bit like the child catcher in, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. There's a sort of sinister element, and that sinister element represents things in the human psyche that we can't quite understand. And when you can't quite understand something, you're slightly scared of it. It frightens you, because you don't know what it is, because you don't fully understand it. And I was thinking the other night, it's a famous painting by Munch, The Scream, and I think that sums up my face. So I'm just going to go through it again. I'll just do a few different variations, just do a few warm-ups. Well, this is it. Finally, the day of Crab Fair, and what I'll be doing next is head off down towards the town, the main street, and hopefully the weather will hold off, because last night the wind and the rain, I just thought, oh no, it's going to be a washout for Crab Fair Day. But it's looking good, and then after we've had a good wander around, seen the people on the main street, we're actually going to go and see the apple cart, which is apparently it's quite mad, so anything can happen on Crab Fair Day this year. Actually, I'm not hungry now. The Morris dancers served up a traditional Wicker Man style routine, while also acting as a good warm-up for the apple cart, which is what everybody was waiting for. While having a look around, I bumped into Derek Shutt, who was at the Crab Fair merchandise store. The apple cart, is it going to be dangerous?
Well, I've just been talking to the sergeant there, and we were going to go up the main street and out at that end, but now we're going to come back down, and we're going to try and stamp the troublemakers out right away.
All right.
We're going to try and catch them here at the start of the apple cart.
That's good.
So it's, the apple cart's loading up now down there.
So I can stand over there next to the road and I won't get a fractured skull.
You'll be quite safe. Yeah.
The apple cart is a 700-year-old tradition. The cart would parade through town with end-of-season apples being thrown out into the street.
Sometimes the film crews have been on here, like, if you want to go on and film on there, we have had them on the past there, and you get a good view, because obviously you're right.
Should we and you go on? I'll go on if you go on.
Yeah, no Not bother, you can scrap a few apples out.
There's about 25 boxes of apples on there.
So that means
About £500 worth of apples.
£500 worth of apples. Imagine being hit by £500 of apples. This is going to be like a war zone.
No, it won't be war zone. It won't be. With a bit of luck, we're going to try and keep it controlled as we can. Plenty of men around the car.
So this is like Egremont answer to Beirut.
No, it is not. It is not.
Okay, then I'll let you get on.
Thank you.
Legend has it that the sour taste of the crab apple, which the crab fair is named after, was an influence upon the origins of gurning. However, nowadays it seems the sour taste encourages people to throw the apples back at the cart, and in recent years this has become a concern for the committee.
If there is any hazards, just stop throwing.
Here we are on the back of the crab fair cart. 700 years. I can't believe we're going to get Just minutes before the apple cart was set to depart, my thoughts were still geared towards tonight's gurning. Shut your eyes. Somebody said blow your mouth out, and then somebody said do this. And I was like, what am I going to do?
Well, there's a set of these.
I know.
You can get them up there, aren't you?
No.
That's what they do, the cheats.
So it is cheating, you see. You heard it from the secretary. Cheating. Heading off now. Here comes a police escort.
Coming round!
3 policemen. That's how hardcore this is. Here I am, throwing apples, and I'm knackered. What? I've never done so much exercise all my life. I'd never seen the parading of the apple cart before, and I was overwhelmed with the excitement that it generated. It reminded me of New Orleans, where it's customary to throw beads at each other during Mardi Gras. Only here in Egremont, the currency is apples, but the atmosphere here matches Mardi Gras any day. Oh, then you've got the story. Every time I stood up, bending over, throwing these apples, I think I've had a full body workout. I left the apple cart and made my way to the crab fair field. Hordes of locals had come out to join the occasion. I had a look at the prize-winning pigeons, but I could hardly contain myself at the sight of this year's prize-winning onions. I then walked up to the fairground and wandered around a bit. I even found a dog that looked like a gurner. I'd missed the ferret races whilst on the apple cart, so I hung around for a while and watched the events of the day. Be it the kids participating in the sports day, the adults helping out, there seemed to be a real sense of community. This made for a uniquely enjoyable event. However, by comedy cart time I was feeling a bit tired. As you can see, Dinglefingle is in the ring doing the hilarious comedy car routine. Next he's going to spray everybody with water. That's never been done before, in the name of comedy. I think we should go now. I've been here for a week, and I think I've learnt a lot, and not just about gurning. I have met some colourful local characters, and the change from the hustle and bustle of the city to the tranquility of the countryside has definitely been inspiring. I thought I'd use this sleepy Saturday afternoon to get some last minute practice for the night I've been waiting 6 years for. Still preying on my mind a bit what face to do, but I think I might leave it till the very last minute, and when I walk out onto the stage tonight I might just make something up on the spot. Might get third, might get second, but I'd like to win, just as long as I don't look like a Burke on the night. Only 3 hours and I'll be on that stage going. Hopefully I'll come away with some sort of prize and I won't have egg on my face. I'll just be... maybe he's the king of Gurning. Oh, I'm practicing. Look at that. Look at the clouds. Is that a sign or a portent of doom?
And the last known survivor stalks his prey in the night, and its fortune must always be Al-Qaeda.
There's somebody come from Sweden, a girl come from Sweden, just to enter the World Gurning contest. So I'm going to check her face out, and the 2 blokes that came with her, they're going to have a go. Don't rate the chances much. The junior talent contest was in full swing. I thought I'd take the opportunity to check out the competition and get down to some serious Gurning talk. How can I compete with that? I mean, do you have any just last minute tips?
Just do your best.
Do your best?
Yeah. Push your cheeks out. Ground it. Just go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Blimey.
Or if you want to see a
There's another
sister.
That was her sister. It's the Gurning tonight. Are you nervous?
I am nervous actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't too bad earlier on, but as it gets nearer and nearer, you know, the junior Gurning is just starting. I'm starting to get a bit nervous now.
Yeah. So, have you been practicing?
Yeah, I've had quite a bit of practice this week, and I've had quite a bit of Gurning today.
You know, you said blow there.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't know about that. I think I'm going to go with the
other face.
That's
quite a good face.
I've been doing the neck as
You've been
well.
trying to get the neck. That's it. You need to pull more on there, so you get it like that. You feel that there.
Because if it wasn't for you travelling, come on, it's nationwide this time, this year. Put your hands together, please. East Yorkshire, we've got Leeds, Cardiff, Manchester, London.
These are the future world champions in the making. Another Anne Woods or Tommy Matheson, perhaps. I registered my name and soaked up the atmosphere, which was increasing by the pint. Soon the junior Gurning was over and the pipe smoking sparked into action. An ounce of tobacco was placed in a pipe and smoked as fast as possible. The smoker who finishes first wins. It's as simple as that. Watching the pipe smoke and feel a bit sick, so I've come outside for some fresh air, and even on the streets it's heaving. It's packed in there and it's 9:10. Straight up after the pipe smoking were the hunting songs, but the Gurning competitions were clearly on people's minds. As I mingled with the Gurning glitteratti, I waited in line for a water and savoured the build-up to what was sure to be an epic night.
And to Greenland for away, brave boy.
Once the hunting songs were out of the way, the female Gurning championships began.
Come on, boys!
The competition kicked off with a few hopefuls, but really no one stood a chance, not once the professionals took to the stage and strutted their gurning stuff. The ladies' contest climaxed with the current world champion Anne Woods giving a rousing performance. However, it was not enough to hold on to her crown for the 26th time.
2004 Ladies Gurning Champion Kath Taylor!
Thank you everybody that supported me. Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Come on, let's hear.
After the shock of the ladies' gurney, we went straight into the men's with a combination of mad, bad and very bad gurns. The last time I entered the competition there were only 12 entries. This year there were 30 and my name was 5th from last on the list. While I stood around checking out the competition, thinking there were 25 entries before me, all of a sudden my name was announced as number 5. Out of the blue and totally unprepared, I had to take to the stage of my destiny for the second time in my life. So this was it. Back on the stage again, they put the collar on my neck and my mind went completely blank. Everything I had learned and everything I remembered just went from my head. I twisted my face and jumped around the stage. The culmination of 1 week over in literally seconds, and then that was it. The long walk back into the audience, back into gurning obscurity.
Well, I've just been up on stage and I think I did alright, but my eyes kept rolling around, I couldn't hear them still. So my mouth's all dry now, but I wasn't nervous, it was a right good laugh.
Come on, everyone, put your hands together, please.
There were some pretty impressive faces in there. It's nice to see some newcomers as well. So we're going to have to wait and see. I wouldn't put any money on me, but it's just good to be here, you know. But anything can happen.
While the judges got their heads down to discuss the gurning, it seemed the whole place erupted into song and dance. As the beer continued to flow, the kids and the adults alike got down to some serious Egremont fashion fun frolics. But the tension mounted, and one by one, in reverse order, the winners were called upon the stage. Alex Woods came 5th with his Popeye Gurn. Joint 3rd was held by the two Gordons, Blacklock and Mattison Sr. In 2nd place was Adrian with another Popeye, which meant that there was only one person who should be crowned the World Gurning Champion.
Mr. Tommy Mattinson!
Having met Tommy, I realised that the amount of effort he puts into gurning can only reap rewards. If ever there was a true ambassador for the sport, Tommy would be right up there. He is the David Beckham of gurning. I wonder how long his reign will continue. Is it going to be a lifetime of gurning, Will he pass down through the generations his secrets, knowledge and advice, like those in years gone by? Either way, I guess this year just wasn't my year.
The second and third places were just 1 point behind.
So how far was I behind?
Well, if you got 4 7s, you'd have been a bit behind. You'd have been about 8th or 9th.
8th or 9th? Oh, well, that's not so bad as 8th.
So you nearly got a rosette.
So how many was there? It was like 30.
About 30.
29.
Alright, well, that's not that bad. So I beat everybody else, I think the other 20, didn't I? So I think I'll tell everybody I was 9th.
Yeah.
I celebrated with a couple of bottles of pop and a jam tart. I left the seaside behind and was now heading back towards London. Unfortunately, not a Gurning champion, but having now discovered the meaning of gurning. As Tommy said, it's about change from one thing to another. I guess I always knew that I'd find the meaning of gurning, but all this time I was looking, it was right in front of me, staring at me from the mirror. I suppose knowing what I know now, it's also brought about a change in me too.